Hi, I am Meli Rentas, and I'm a licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. I am going to be posting answers to your questions about mental health and womanhood, integrating a Christian perspective. So I'm a lifelong Christian, and I've been helping women take control of anxiety and live free and calmly and peacefully for the past 14, almost 15 years now. And so today's anonymous question that I'm going to answer asks this. It says, how do I work through anxiety when I feel like it's about to overcome me? And to me, this sounds like maybe an anxiety or panic attack. So I'm going to give you about 6 things to consider to help you work through those emotions. The number one thing that is actually super helpful is deep breathing. Now, there are all kinds of deep breathing exercises that I teach my clients when I'm working with them individually. There's diaphragmatic breathing, there's box breathing, and there's a few other ones. I like to teach all the different forms to my clients so that you can test out, practice, and see which one works for you. So you can go ahead and Google those when you have the chance. Make a note of them. Do that after you watch the rest of this video. The second part is to focus on surrender and meditating on what that means from a biblical standpoint. It's really powerful to look towards the Word of God and have God speak to you through His Word. I really enjoy reviewing Romans 5 with my clients and love the verse that talks about how the testing of our faith produces perseverance, endurance, and then ultimately hope. And it's a hope unlike anything else, anything in the world can give us. It's the supernatural peace that passes all understanding that God gives us. And so really, that helps with any kind of underlying core beliefs that are within your mind, soul, and spirit that you might have not even noticed yet, that kind of keep you stuck in this anxious cycle that can be hard to break free from. So I always encourage my clients to study things like surrender and thoughts and biblical meditation and looking through the scriptures and having a prayer journal to process that, with God in your quiet Bible study time. All right, a third sort of practical skill that can be really helpful is called mindfulness. And it basically is sort of stepping outside of your internal dialogue, of anxiety and anxious thinking, the worry that can be, that might be overcoming you, and taking a moment to identify, what is something that you can see in that moment? What is something that you can hear, wherever it is that you may be when you're having this overwhelming anxiety? Something you can smell, something you can feel. Like I said, just kind of shifting your thinking for a minute outside of the irrational fear that you're experiencing. The fourth thing is support. So if you have the kind of anxiety that it's just really overwhelming and debilitating, and it's making it hard to just do the things you need to do every day, go to work, take care of yourself, take care of your kids, your family, your husband, drive, whatever it may be, then that those are signs that it's really a really good idea to see a professional counselor or therapist. And you can use websites like Psychology Today to find one in your state, or connect with your pastor, maybe do some pastoral counseling, and consider asking for a referral for a licensed Christian therapist as well, because they will use techniques that come from, psychology and the mental health background and scientific literature. And it's sort of just a practical application to that is also still faithful to the scriptures, which is really important. The fifth thing is something that I do very intently and over several sessions with my clients, and it's working on your thinking, because at the foundation, at the core of anxiety, many times there's a tendency to think irrationally and utilizing things like mental mistakes. For example, a big one is catastrophizing, which means just assuming the absolute worst outcome in a situation. And obviously, when we're thinking that way, it can lead to the feelings of anxiety, whether it's rapid heart rate, a stomach ache, dizziness, chest tightness, the list can go on and on and on. but oftentimes it stems from an irrational, fear-based thought. And the reason why it's irrational is because it's not necessarily true. So I teach my clients how to identify all the mental mistakes. There's like a list of 20 to 25, and we go through and just you're able to identify which ones you personally struggle with. And then we work together to start testing them against the truth one by one. And that's very helpful and very freeing. And it takes some time to learn that skill and practice. It's just like exercising any muscle. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. And that's the same with that thinking habit that I teach clients. And then the last and final tip that I would share with you is think about other times in the past where you have successfully worked through those anxious thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, and you saw yourself come out the other side and you were safe and you were fine and you were satisfied with how you dealt with it. If you can think of a time where you did that and just kind of process it and take notes of what worked and what didn't, then you can start to make a game plan and be really intentional about how you will want to deal with those moments of anxiety where you feel like it's going to overcome you in a healthy way that, again, has already worked for you in the past. So if you want to share any of your questions and have me answer them in a future video, feel free to leave a comment under this video and let me know. And remember, this is not counseling, it's for educational purposes only.